What up, peeps? It's your girl, Dodge, come back to Real Takes. Well, it's that time, guys. It's reaction time, and this is to Secret Invasion. This will be for episode 3, titled Betrayed. Now, the last episode I truly did enjoy. A lot was happening with quite a few characters, and definitely building up on what's exactly the overall story, what Gravik has planned for, you know, the Skrulls. So it was really good, kind of fleshing him out a little bit. Of course, seeing the backstory of what happened, you know, during this little, you know, gathering meeting with Talos and Nick Fury. We of course see Gaia, you know, his wife. We get to meet Gravik as a young boy, you know, meeting another female who kind of was, you know, wondering who she was. As time goes on, definitely more of a reveal there. But again, just seeing him young, seeing how he was able to escape. He did lose his parents and all of it. He was able to, you know, I think she said, you know, take this ship and all, and be able to hone all that by himself. Very smart, very bright. The potential's there. So to let you know, early on, he's able to, you know, deal with certain circumstances and rise to the occasion and learn things and all that. Very a strong-willed young man, growing into an adult and being where he is now, where he is trying to pretty much invade, you know, Earth, taking over, like you stated before. Promises, you know, are not kept. This is the end result, hence him meeting with that council. We're seeing certain people who are a part of the Skrull Council. We see the Prime Minister, guy from NATO, one of our people, you know, with United States, you know, administration. Just a lot going on. One of them decided she wanted no part of it, and definitely worried if she's going to get killed. But she was able, of course, to reach out to Talos, let him know about the situation with Gravik, you know, changing, being much different, but he's wanting a meeting with him. And of course we know that's going on the curse of him wanting to free Gaia of, you know, this whole, but she's kind of seeing things are coming to reveal as well, following one of the guys, one of the main guys that Gravik, you know, deals with to get things done. Now we see when this comment comes up with the guy being interrogated by Fallsworth, was that this machine he's working on that helps him have, you know, more strength, and it's a couple. So now I can put 2 and 2, because at first I wasn't sure who's this couple, but we see the woman and the man, and clearly from what was on the computer when Gaia was going through checking for names and information, and was able to cover her tracks very quickly. But that one was interesting. Also Talos and Nick Fury, you know, having a moment where he has admit about 1 million Skrulls are here. Granted, you know, communication wasn't good, but hence also what Talos said. You see when he said, you know, when certain situation happened, the snap happened, he came back, he changed, he didn't really want to be bothered with Talos. Talos made a decision. It's unfortunate that Nick Fury, he's like, you knew where I was, but it's like, again, you weren't communicating. He didn't communicate, he was trying to reach out, whatever, he had to make a decision, he didn't know you're coming back. Really unfortunate, he's pissed. You know, so understandably, then also pissed with Rose because now he's been fired. But it's like, can you really fire him? Like, really? Just saying that, you know, just in verbal? Like, because even though you want him to step down on certain things and not having this type of necessary stuff at his disposal for whatever he's trying to do, explain it to him, and knowing that he dealt with something 15 years ago prior to this situation. So it's just like a lot going on this one, you know. And I feel for the Nick Fury, he's feeling closed in. But I will say that reveal at the end, I was not expecting that. I was trying to remember if they said he was married, but he did make a comment like, oh, you know, I'm married, and I don't know if he's like some little jargon or something. Somebody might have to correct me in the comments, but I could have sworn he did. He just doesn't talk about it, so I couldn't recall if he actually did have a wife or not. But now we do know. I'm hoping we get a little bit more information with that, or see something or conversation between him and his wife in this episode. So with that said, I have rented on enough. Let's go ahead and jump into it. See if there were some thoughts of then, you guys.
Now, at the council meeting, I told you I had a plan for taking Earth as our own. I sent 3 operatives to infiltrate the Royal Navy. No longer just change faces. We change powers. We're going to be uniquely programmed weapons of mass destruction. All of us. Super Skrulls. Gar?
This should put Dracov's men on their heels.
There's a rule that, you know, commander station and operatives cannot be.
Our unit doesn't exist, Fury. That means I don't work for you.
Oh.
I never harbored any illusions about the necessity of you going away. But staying away, that leaves a mark. Any plans for the downtime?
Well, you know, I never cared much for golf, so I'm thinking I may take up revenge.
I became a widow in your absence. I wept on your pillow every night. I grieved for you. You came back in the blip. And silly me, I thought we were going to undo all the pain together. You just up and vanished again. Only this time it was voluntary. I don't have that information at hand right now. You two, take care.
Someone told the cops where we were headed.
Oh,
Only we knew that. It was me, you, Pagan, and Beto in the car.
I imagine when they asked him where they could find you, he was forced to make an educated guess. It was Brogan. He was weaker than you thought.
ooh, girl.
Your father called for a parley. Apparently we're meeting about you. Right on schedule. The UN plane will be at Neptune's coordinates, 2200 hours.
What I want is for you to stand down and stop murdering innocent humans.
You know, I would be doing us both a favor. I just put you out of your misery right there.
You should be grateful that I haven't sent that back to you in a body bag yet. Understand the first thing about humans. They're at their most formidable when they're threatened. And I'm going to tell every army on Earth who it is that's attacking them. You'll lose the element of surprise. You and your rebels will be put down like the rabid dogs you are. We who haven't been infected by your sickness.
So then Kaya stays with me then, is it?
My daughter's name stays out of your mouth.
Ooh. Damn.
You really are shameless, aren't you? Anyone that could say what you said to me yesterday, have the balls to come up in here and ask me for help, I'm gonna need you to, use your words, say the words. Say what words? Help me, Delos, because I am useless without you.
Oh.
Neptune is a British sub. I know who to call. What do you know about a British submarine called Neptune?
First, I want an apology.
I just gave away the only one of those I had today.
Well, you'll have to double down. No, not anymore. He has a new name now. Nicholas Fury. He has a rather dashing little eye patch now. Fortunately, I'm dealing with my own infiltration at the moment. Somebody leaked the location of the butcher's shop when I was doing some of my best work. His name is Commodore Robert Fairbanks.
Ah, can I get a photo and an address?
Absolutely.
Portsmouth. That's where a Naval Command HQ is. That's really what you think? That the whole time we've known each other, you've been cleaning up my mess. You didn't start ascending the ranks until me and 19 of my people signed on as your invisible spy network. Every time you were promoted inside S.H.I.E.L.D., we did that. Every terror attack you prevented, we did that. We're here. Hey, Bob? Yeah, Bob. You remember Bob? The guy that's gonna launch a nuclear attack? I'm sorry, I didn't realize that. No, that's because you were too busy riding the... we did that way. Nobody calls me Nick, Bob. What you working on over there, Bob?
This has to be a mistake.
The message has been authenticated, Captain. I'm obliged to strike.
You couldn't protect yourself coming through that door. You're a shell of the general you used to be.
Enough of this bull! I'm giving you 3 seconds to give me that code, or I'm gonna aim higher, or maybe lower.
You can't even keep your daughter's loyalty.
Oh!
Or is she the spineless traitor feeding you information?
Colonel Robert Fairbanks, I hate his lord's determination, password, now.
Good evening, friends.
Officer Dan, what can we do?
Initiate current position. You got it? Okay, now run.
Abort. Exercise. Code word? Zachary.
Get out of there.
I'm not with Gravik, because I'm with you.
Oh, he knew it.
Where are you off to, Claire?
I heard about the failed strike. Our men need exfiltration.
Finding the traitor was essential.
Turn around.
No. You will look at me.
Exactly.
Are you a leader of Skrulls? Or a West End?
Oh, damn. Ooh. Tails coming after him now.
St. James Church for an hour.
I need to speak to Gravik.
Hello, you're talking to me.
All right, you guys, this was a great episode. It just seems like the show just keeps getting better and better with each episode, where it flushes out even more of what's going on in regards to Gravik's purpose and agenda. I like how, I might be all over the place, I'm going to try to kind of stay in order. Finally get what I asked for in my last episode in regards to know a little bit more about the wife to Fury, and of course named Priscilla, and seeing the backstory where they meet up and at first, playing that little coyness and all that, and sitting down and talking to her, and just seeing, this conversation, of course, she's a Skrull and all that, so that lets me know, okay, he's fully aware, it's wanting to know a little bit about the person's, of course, overall look she took, whatever, but didn't really go into ton of details to why, which I thought was interesting, but nothing wrong with that. Nonetheless, I like how it, of course, flashes to present day, of course, having together coffee and breakfast, and you see where he kind of makes a comment to her, just making sure she is still so-called the same person to her, like in some ways, honestly, in regards to probably the trust factor. It's been a while. Granted, when she kind of had to put him in his place a little bit, talking about how, first time out I had to, to grieve. I was the wife, thought I, never seen me, and come to find out, in the flash she was gone, but then shows up, and then had to, somewhat not have him again, because as she said, he left again. This time it was voluntary. Bringing us back to him and Taylor's having a conversation on the train about how, he never thought that he was going to come back. Then he comes back with him and all that. Didn't want to be bothered. Didn't want to talk to this and all that. And you see how he's been up there. She's like, I've been doing me. She says, so when you did it the second time, this time around, I chose to be about me, how I was at the beginning when they first met, So that was interesting. But then you see also, somebody, ends up, reaching out to her, and he, kind of gives her that moment and all that. But you see how when she walks away, because he asks, is it anything important? He's like, no, nothing important. But he looks at the phone. Even though I know he wants to believe and trust his wife, you got to second guess it, because it's always going to be where your mindset's on that job. A lot has happened, and he's right. I mean, she's right and Tal's right. Excuse me. The fact remains is that, you came back, you just kind of separate yourself, didn't want to deal with people and all that, and that stuff can take a toll, hence even what Hill said to him. So him trying to open stuff up, but granted, Talos, at least he wasn't honest when he told him that all the Skrulls are there, but in the end he's always had Fury's back, and that was the thing. Because I like this little conversation he had later on where he's like, so between her, why did you choose? He's like, I wasn't going to choose Gravik because I am with you. My respect, trust, loyalty is with you, not with him. But he can clearly see what Gravik is. So let's get into Gravik, okay? More and more, somebody made a comment where they feel like Gravik's put himself in a situation where the people who are following him, those rebels, might eventually turn him. And it makes me wonder, because it's almost like, in my ways, he keeps talking about his people. When you see him meet up, with some of the Skrull Council, and he shows them this thing that's being built by that couple, he finally admits, he's like, this is all around in regards to whatever that stuff they did for the serum, and also this thing is going to supposedly make some super Skrulls. So let's just get into it, because that's exactly what he called it. Looking at him, he's like, I want to feel like you're all on board. It'll probably start with him and then them, and then see how this all, ends up turning out. We do know that, of course, being that they're Skrulls, the actual people, the prime minister, the person working with, our president's, administration, all of them, of course, linked up, as you all see within this episode. Now, with that being said, you see him, of course, with Gaia, and I'm going to tell you, I said it in the other reaction, my response at the end, my review of it, gotta be careful, because I said they both are very strong-willed in the convictions of doing certain things. Him getting his agenda, everything he wants his narrative across the way he wants it, and then with her kind of being somewhat for the cause, but seeing a lot more is going on that she realizes, and realizing this is not the right thing, and that's why she's, of course, at times helping her dad. When he comes in there and asks her how would they know about our safe house, whatever, he's like, only certain people know. He's like, well, that guy Rebel, I think his name Brogan, could have. And I said, okay, you better play it. You better say the right words. It's like, what will make you think? He's being interrogated. Who knows how long he was being interrogated? I don't know if it was for a couple of days. I don't know how many time frames from the amount of time has gone from when we saw the explosion with all those casualties till now when they were in that actual place, doing it when Falsworth came in there. So it makes you wonder. But we know really it was her on that phone hiding in the corner telling that guy, that young boy who's new to the rebels, I'm just going to circle around and make sure, nobody's kind of going to come out with it. And also just, he's like, okay, bet. Unwiser. So he's, very, not say it like this, but naivete, none the wiser with him. So when she's saying like, oh, he could have, under those constraints, thinking with me, I'd have lied. I think I'm a good liar. And when she said like that, I think he's like, okay, but then it makes him wonder, like, yeah, you probably are a good liar. You're saying that, but then it's like you did just enough that you needed to do and all that. And he's very hesitant with her. She's already done. I already know she has her mind really made up with what she's seeing and knowing that he was working on the stuff that she had no clue about, and then this happening. But with him, I said it. He has people who are going to do what they need to do, his bidding and all, but in it, he truly only trusts himself. He don't trust nobody. He doesn't want anybody that close. He keeps people really at a distance. He asks, gives them orders, and they just fall him out, whatever and all. But that brother right there is about himself. He has his own agenda. Ever since his parents, he's about doing what he wants to do. Now, granted, a little bit falls on Fury and Talos for the fact that they were supposed to do this. Now, granted, we will never know. If they had given them a planet sooner and all that, none of this would remember. The fact remains, like you said, promise was not kept, and he's going to finish whatever he says he's going to do. He's going to follow it through, and right now it seems to be happening. You see also the scene. I love the banter between Fury and Talos. When he was just like, you have the gall to come up in here, you ruined my breakfast, and then you have the nerve to sit there and want me to do this, whatever and all, like you owe me an apology. In some form, I agree. It's like, he had to make the decision for his people and all that. You were not helpful. He tries to come to you. You don't want to listen to him and all that. So this is what happened. Now, granted, I wish he could have communicated you, but like again, everybody said, you made it hard for them to do that. Sometimes you were scarce. You left again. Wife said it. So it's almost like this is what happened. Granted, he should have, as soon as he came back, he should have told him. But now it's like it's out there. You need him. You can't get these Skrulls and all that. Some of them are probably still aligned with Talos. Hence, every time we turn around, talking to some people who are part of the council, talking to the person who gave him the phone, you know, he does still have some of that back, and some people are still upset because he should be the actual new general after that prime minister did what she did and said that during that meeting, and they all had to stand and, you know, kind of bow to it, like, okay, like they're in, you know, in an agreement. But in the end, you need him, and I'm glad he did it. You could see the look on his face when he walked away, like, that took a lot out of him to do it, but it had to be done. Mind you, somebody else wanted an apology, and that was Sonya. But in the end, you know, she, you know, pretty much gave him a little bit of information about what was sent from Gaia about Neptune, this tank, you know, whatever and all that. Submarine, excuse me, that's going to, you know, cause some havoc. Mind you, the 3 at the beginning of this episode have been sent infiltrating into the military. So right there on the ship, and all you see is the fact that now they got to stop this. We have to meet this particular guy named Bob, what I think was a Franklin or Franklin or whatever. Go to his house, get him to give the code so they can stop this from happening, and throw out that. And granted, he shoots the guy, Talos, because he makes a comment, you know, about, oh, your daughter must be this. And when he shot, you knew it was true, because even Fury looked at him like, yeah, she is put herself in a situation where she's close to the enemy at the moment. But here you are, you know, asking her, and she goes in and she's able to get what she gets. And I think it was called Zachary or whatever. She stopped it. But I will say this, that whole situation, her getting, he's like, you know, get out of there. And she ends up being, you know, pretty much cornered by Gravik and making her statement. He's like, oh no, he had an idea. I feel like in some ways it's kind of a little bit of a setup where he could flush out, you know, the traitor, and he figured it out. Now granted, definitely with her, I won't say Brogan, you know, really is a traitor. He was under a certain situation where he eventually gave some information. He just doesn't know how much information he gave so far. But granted, Sonya is kind of looking into some things. They, you know, blew the cover of a place they used for interrogation when she got what she needed from Brogan. And then here we are with this whole information now where Gravik, you know, has shot Gaia. And I'm going to tell you, that scene with him talking to Talos in that little museum, having this conversation, and when he tried to first go from at first and all of them turned to him, I remember that in the trailer. I thought that was a sweet scene right there. Like, I was not expecting all to turn it. So if he wanted to get caught, you know, within all the, you know, the groups of him, whatever, he can get away. But I will say this, I think once he finds out about his daughter and she doesn't show where she's supposed to be at, you know, for part of meeting point, he's going to know Gravik did something to her. And I'm going to tell you, he made a threat about exposing him. He's like, yeah, you're unknown or cover of your whatever. You have the price, may have to take on another face. I doubt seriously, depending on how quickly Gravik moves with, you know, trying to get this whole thing with that Super Skrull thing going so he can cause more terror or whatever to take over. But, you know, he's like, you would do that to the people. Like, don't fall back on them, buddy. Because I said, most of this agenda is all from you. It's not them. They're just falling in line with you because this is what you truly want. Now, for him, yeah, I wanted to make it hard for him to just think he's going to go straight out the gate and be able to do what you need to do. And granted, right now, they're not bringing anything else into the fold. So it's pretty much Fury and Talos handling this. Hopefully, some people might kind of start seeing it. But right now, the only person that was really seeing, well, and besides the woman from the council, her and Gaia. A lot of the other ones have no clue of what's really going on or what can really, you know, happen. Him making a comment, you know, about he doesn't know really humans, and, you know, in this instance, when they put in this, you know, situation, all that, they pretty much rise to the occasion. We'll have to see. And he's like, you know, all the parts of like, you don't forget how we fight. It's nothing to do with that. Yes, you all can fight. They can say the Americans can fight. It's going to be very interesting. I was really intrigued with that conversation, but he was just like, keep my daughter's name out your mouth. And you see the look on his face like, and now he done killed her, so he already knows he has to worry about that because he knows eventually Talos is going to find out that you already killed Maria Hill, which was somebody Fury loves and cared about deeply, and now you took Talos' daughter, already lost the mother, the wife. Oh, he's going to be on a warpath, so I can only imagine on the next episode, once it comes out, whatever, the determination for him to figure it out, because glad they were able to stop that submarine. And now it's going to be like, what's going to happen? You know, I was really hoping she was still alive, but just the way she was sitting down there, she's not. And she had no other ally to kind of help her out of this situation. So that part just is so sad. So we'll have to see what's going to happen moving forward when her father truly finds out what happened to his daughter. Now for the wife, to Fury, when she called, like, I want to speak to, you know, he's not here, are you speaking to me? I'm just like, little arrogant ass. But needless to say, goes to a safe deposit box and pulls out a gun. I'm like, what is going on with you? Are you still, you know, down for a cause with, helping. It's like you wanted the potential of knowing what Gravik can do and, all this and all that. And I figured that was her at the beginning, back in 97. So I'm trying to think, when we saw her in her form at the end of last episode, this is, her, face. But I'm just like, what are you up to? And since the fear was a little, here's what his wife is saying, but slightly hesitant. Who's on that call? It wasn't like subliminal and all. She's like, no, I don't have the information for you right now. Okay, it's like, oh, is that important? No, it's not. Kiss, went to go sit I'm assuming in the room to eat. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know how to take her, but I tell you like this, that betrayal is going to be something right there. Hence the title. So, great episode. I know I've rambled on, but I wanted to get it all off my chest. It was just... but the last little part I had to say that was so funny was the part with Sonya talking to Nick Fury and wanting that apology, but then finding out his little piece that he used to spy, and then now name the owl Nick Fury. I had to chuckle at that. I thought that was funny, but just had to go there for a quick second. But again, this was a great episode. So with that said, you guys, comment below. I would love to know what you think. And with that said, I'll see you guys next reaction. You guys take care.